yeah, metal oxide using samarium and uranium. Sodium, of course, we use a lot, even we eat a lot every day, yeah, sodium chloride. Vanadium also I use for materials in my research, and argon. Every time I synthesize materials that is very sensitive to air, then we need to use argon. So it's a nice story about the part of my life, and also the chemical that is composed my name. I would like to mention, and I would like to start what I want to share today is with the grand challenge that facing us. Yeah, one of the grand challenge that facing us is the climate change. Yeah, climate change is a real and is many impact that have been shown in recent years that is due to the climate change. Yeah, and it is believed that if we don't act on it, if we're not quick enough to act on it, then the severe and the more serious impact will be coming soon. So it is need work from all of us, collaborative work from all of us to do the climate change mitigation, and we have to act on it. Part of the why the climate change is happening is actually we can see some people say this is like a golf stick graph. Yeah, many things that happening in the world from the history is taking shape of this. Yeah, for example, this is the world GDP is taking shape of like the stick of golf. Yeah, like letter L, letter L. Yeah, letter L, inverted letter L, for example. Yeah. So for a long time in the history, the whole of the world is very poor, but suddenly we are getting very rich. Yeah, we are in terms of the gross domestic product, it is very rich. If we plot the number of population in the world from the history, it will take more or less is the same. Yeah. If we take, for example, the number of the books that is produced, for example, it will be also the things like this. So part of the problem of the climate change or global emission of carbon dioxide emission is also related with the product, the industrial activity, the activity of humankind that is happening throughout the history. Other global challenges is that in front of us. Of course, we are still in the pandemics. This is also is facing all of us in the world. And many epidemiologists, many biologists believe that probably, we don't want actually, but probably this will not the first or the last pandemic that we will facing because of the climate change, because of the what you call the ecosystem is been by the human activity, the ecosystem and human and others, animals, and the habitat for the animal is keep decreasing. That is why there will be a lot of pandemics and a lot of zoonosis. Yeah, the disease that comes from the animals or is transmitted through the animals. Yeah, so we have to prepare, and we have to also makes the science and innovation possible, how we can cope with the probability or the how we can resist, we have resilience toward the next pandemics, for example. This is just the impact of the pandemics. We have due to the pandemics, we have the economic crisis all over the world. Now, the crisis is not only happening in one or two countries. All of the countries in the world is having an economic crisis. And the new normals, what we call, this is a consequence that due to the we have to keep distance between peoples, keep less contact between people. So we have to practice what we call less contact society. The other things that almost we heard every day is the industrial revolutions, and this is actually the merge between the bio socials and also the digital society. Yeah, so this is become one integrate the merge one integration of and it's been characterized by Internet of Things, big data, and artificial intelligence. This is just to show you the impact of the COVID is in many things, in economics, in stock markets, in tourism, and also in financial markets. And in Indonesia itself, it's predicted that more than 2 million formal and informal workers is discharged. There are many, especially the tourism, some of the province that is rely on tourism in their economic is drastically decrease, and the other things, including the small and medium enterprises. Now, when less contact economy or moving toward work from home, then typically the employee that can do the work from home is the employee that do the office work, like high rank work, or the more intelligence works. Yeah, it's less than manual works. Yeah, so the people that is doing many mostly in the manual work, it's very difficult to work from home, and this is why there is a terminations, a layoff, and everything is due on the many of our formal our labor's condition is mainly dominated by workers that still work on manual tasks. Yeah. This is the challenge that we face in Indonesia. At the moment, our innovation index scores is in the rank of 85. Yeah, and if we look in several of the criteria in terms of institution, human capitals, I would like to talk more on the institution and human capital and research capacity here. Our score is 92, while in Singapore, our neighbors is 8. So we have 84 difference, 84 numbers difference. Yeah, while Malaysia, for example, is 29. So we have to catch up a lot with our neighbors in terms of the human capital and research capacity. In terms of business specialization, this is also in innovation index is very important. We are in 114. Our neighbors, Singapore is 6, so we have 108 difference. While Malaysia is 31, so we have 83 difference. So we still have to work a lot, do hard work to catch up with our neighbors. Yeah. This is in the national development agenda already, and that Indonesia believe that we, in order to escape from our what we call now is in the middle income status, we have to shift from resource-driven economy toward innovation-driven economy. And in moving from resource-driven economy toward innovation-driven economy, of course, the research and development and innovation is very important. And we have do a lot in terms of how we drive or how we make innovation flourish in the country. What our agenda is making innovation process through the what we call is a triple helix. This is a close collaboration between the governments in making the policy, and also the government in the same times can be a consumer of what the innovation and invention product of the academics and industry. Again, we have a close collaboration between governments as a policy and also consumer of some of the innovation products. The industry, making the innovation from the academics and researchers to be mass produced to fill the need of the customers, and also the academics. The academics is researchers at university and also researchers at our public research institution in Indonesia. We call LPNK, public research institutions, and also research and development institute. So all this close collaboration hopefully can make the innovation in Indonesia become flourish. We, in terms of the policy, we have a national decree, for example, for local contents. Everything with a high local contents can be or highly recommended to be procured by the national or by ministry and other local government, for example. We also have recently have a regulation in terms of the super tax deduction. That is, if the industry spend money or spend resources on research, then they can have a super tax deduction up to 300%. So this is a very generous tax deduction, and hopefully through this, then industry can support research or collaborate research with the university or research institute. This is what we probably see the linear pathway between invention or research, pure research, and then up to the markets products. So from the publication or research, we then sometimes go to the prototype. Probably can be patent can be patented, and then out of that the product that will in the markets. So we as a research institute in Indonesia, research agency, we will determine the new knowledge that created by higher education institute and research institute. And also we instill the industry confidence and influence investment decision through these activities. Let me share with you also that innovation is actually take a whole village. It's take whole of us, every one of us involved in the innovation process in the country. With analogy of gardening, if we want to garden innovation, we want to grow the innovation in the country, then we need to water. In terms of the governments, we have to provide the finance and support to the innovators. We have to also remove the weed. We also have to make sure that the regulation is supportive toward innovation. And there are for new products and new innovation, the competition is not too harsh. Otherwise, they will be like fail suddenly. We have to nurture the soil. That is important to do research and also provide information that is appropriate for research and developments. And this is all of you that is doing research, do some innovative work. It's very important toward how we in the country can be innovation can grow in the country. And last but not least, it's very important to prepare the grounds, and that is education to foster or to prepare the receptive and creative population. Let me, this is a little bit theoretical, but this can be also can be digest in local content, but in the country level, the capacity or the technological achievement of a country is depend on what we call technological absorption capacity of the country. Yeah? So this come from the proactive policy in the country, basic technological literacy of their citizens, finance of innovative firms, and also the government and business climates. While the technological frontiers that can come to the country can come through trade, can come through foreign direct investment, and also can come from diaspora or other networks. So this is can be also applied to one of the city or one of the rural area, for example. So in rural area, it's also the technological achievement is depend on the absorption technological capacity of this village, for example, and this also depend on the basic technological literacy of the citizen of the village. So it's in many villages in Indonesia, for example, in the farming, they're still doing manually, while there are a lot of things that is mechanical and can be very productive and is not labor intensive, while many of the farmer in the rural area still using the manual work for doing their work. So this is means that the basic technological literacy of the peoples there, because they probably don't know the technology, they know the mechanical that can help them is still very limited. This is my last slide about the innovation ecosystem. And what this slide want to say is that although there are, as I mentioned, there are indirect factors that can come from the industry and also come from the governments, the most important thing that can direct, that can make the innovation in the country growth and also sustain is the human talents in the country that do research and development, that do the innovation of work, the innovation work. If there are no peoples that is high competence in research and development, and they are spending their time in research and development, then the research and innovation in the country cannot grow. The research and development in the country cannot operate. So this is very important. Someone like you that is very have passion in research and development and in innovation to be a motors in the country to make the research and innovation in the country operate and also sustain. Let me finish with what is currently one of the opportunity that is a lot in today era is in a digital economy. So we see that as digital because of the, as I mentioned, industrial revolution, fourth industrial revolution, and also catalyzed by the pandemics because, as I mentioned, the less contact economy is a necessity now. So there is digital economy is now become part of our life, from sharing economy, e-education, e-government, and E for everything, like e-health, e-marketplace, smart appliances, etc. So Indonesia, of course, in this digital era also have, if we can summarize, then the digital economic era have some benefit, that is inclusivity, efficiency, and also there are opportunity for innovation. Yeah, but in the same times, the challenge for us is the digital economy is in terms of the control, the digital economy that control the society, and also in the same times still the inequality. Yeah, it can be threaten the automation of labor and also concentration. Yeah, and this can create the unhealthy competitions. So this is very important that we need to develop and utilize the digital and the digitalization that can benefit and open wide opportunity for the country, for us to leapfrog. And also the digital can also bring challenges due to the changes that caused by the this is the plan for Indonesia transformation and development, digital transformation in 2000 to 2014, 2024. And we can see that in the long range that we, in the 25, we want to become a creative and digital economy as source of the growth. And in the 35, we want to be a creative and digital economy as a driver of innovation-driven economy. And in 2045, Indonesia is one of world-class creative and digital economy. This will be done through utilization of ICT infrastructures in every aspect of our life, in education, in health, in social, agriculture, etc. And then SPBE, the transaction based on electronics, so the infrastructure and service integrations. This will be done through the National Data Center, Indonesia Data One, atau One Data of Indonesia, inter-governance network, and also application integrations. And then we also will do this through broadband expansions. Especially in the last mile, many area in Indonesia has not been covered by internet. So this is very important, and will be done especially in this next 5 years. And then strengthening digital human resources through digital literacy and digital talent scholarships, strengthening domestic ICT industry, and also adoption of technology. So other things that is very important is that innovation also means entrepreneurial. And this is also that we in Indonesia have to work very hard, because in Indonesia, our ranking in terms of entrepreneurial level is also still quite low. And then we need to also catch up with other countries to make our country more entrepreneurial. And this is some of the work that we done in the ministry. We also support the innovation or some of the program that for the special for the startup, for a startup that is start to develop and then to make larger startup. So this is some of the startup that we've been assessed, and then they can growth, and also they can sustain in today world. And we do hope that through education, that with the basic of science, with passion on research and developments, but in the same time, you also have a passion to innovate. From the research and development, with the passion or with the aims to solve the problem in the society, we can have a competitive drive, and also you will become young innovators and this is very important for Indonesia and for the world, as we face, as I mentioned in the first part of my share, that we're facing so many challenges in the world. Yeah, so it is very important to summarize that we have a creative competency, and this is need to be nurtured, to always to develop, to stimulate creative power and self-confidence, and to have a
Professor, I am sorry to cut the speech. The time is 5 more minutes, Professor.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will finish soon. Okay, and then also we need to have a soft skill capacity developments and modern technology capabilities. So this is to give you some of the opportunity for transformation toward what we call a new normals. For example, facilitating fundamental changes, how to improve skill for future jobs and encourage company to digitize and innovate, because we believe that the future will be more digital, will play more important role in the futures. Involve all members of society to participate in the change of in variety roles, and then other opportunity also to accelerate economic recovery. For example, this is the pandemics, as I mentioned, is have an impact of economic crisis all over the world. It is very important to encourage the industrial sector by attracting foreign direct investment and also accelerating application of Industry 4.0 or digital economy, especially for the small and medium enterprises. Rebuild the tourism sectors. As I mentioned in the first part, the tourism sector is hit very hard by the pandemics, and then also increase the nation resilience toward or for the future crisis. What we can do is enhance the research and innovation in various aspects of our health sector, importantly, and also domestic production for domestic and foreign. So that's all I want to share with you. I hope that this can show you some of the things that is our important agenda for the country and also for the world. And we do hope that you always keep your spirit always in good health, and also always have encouragement to always keep innovate and creative work. Thank you so much, and hope that you have every success in your career. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Ismunandar, for great speech. And then, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to other speech. The second speech will be delivered by Mr. Dmitry Korotkov, PhD, as a founder of International Scientific Communications Consortium in Russia. Mr. Dmitry Korotkov, PhD, please, time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you hear me well? Excuse me, do you hear me well?
I can hear you, Mr.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. So, dear colleagues, dear participants of the World Innovative Science Project Olympiad, first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ismunandar for the very valuable, interesting speech and the view on innovation from the government. So I would like to have a short review about personal view on innovation. So we all speak today about the innovation, but what is the innovation by nature? Why innovations could be created by people, not by, for example, animals? So there is a fundamental second law of thermodynamics, according to which there is such an inequality as entropy, and it cannot decrease with time. In simple example, it means that the heat can't come from cooler body to the hotter one. The entropy is measure of chaos. I'm sorry. So entropy is the only quantity of physical science that seems to imply a particular direction of progress, sometimes called as arrow of time. And the law defines causal relationship where all the reasons for the present lie in the past. So this lead us to the consumption model. Choose life, choose a job, choose a career, choose a family, choose a washing machines, car, and so on. Choose life, choose future. But I chose not to choose life. I chose something else. What else we could choose instead of consumption? Maybe you see the Christopher Nolan film Tenet, where he brought us the third experiment, where people change the past from the future. The reverse of causality leads us to the lots of paradoxes. But in fact, we all could imagine the future, believe in it, and act as if it is real. This way we reason, this way the reason for our action would lie in the future. So we could not choose from the past, but create something new. That's why the core of innovation is creativity. Finally, it's not so easy. First, definitely you need to be good educated. And why? First of all, is because of complexity. When you see, for example, Wikipedia page on reading scientific articles, you will see just part of the subjects, like leg of the elephant and nose, and maybe some part couldn't help you to understand overall picture. So education, as long as a book reading could give you a complex representation of subject, and finally could lead you to better understanding of scientific articles. Only complex representation of subject could help you to understand articles, because only articles could bring you to scientific frontier. But it's pointless to read them without the understanding. The second is abstraction. To effectively create something, we need to develop abstraction thinking. Abstraction, in its main sense, is the conceptual process where general rules and concepts are derived from the usage and classification of specific examples, first principles or other methods. Abstraction is very important concept for innovation. Abstraction requires to get rid of all unnecessary and highlight the main and meaningful things. Sometimes it's not so easy. For example, now we have good understanding of the Newton's first law. If the vector of sum of all forces acting on the object is zero, then the velocity of the object is constant. But in the past, when in Newton's time, it wasn't so easy to get rid of the friction. Only imagination could make the abstraction of the world without the friction. Education could teach you to make translation from the real situation to experimental real situation, experiment to theory, and back in physics, chemistry, sociology, and even history and sport. So the third and also very important thing derived from the nature of understanding and perception. The nature of understanding is very tricky. Never believe that you understand something completely. I'd say critical thinking is underestimated skills. The difficulty is that consistency of your representation of subject could be tested only by practical tasks, or by those who have the developed representation by themselves. It means teachers or mentors. If you only read and don't do practical tasks, remember, it could be consumption and lead away from the creativity. Let's dig for a very interesting example. Maybe 55 years, the mouse device for the computing science was created. Just point a couple seconds on this. It's not enough to see the future and believe in it. We need more to bring the imagination to life. On December 9, in 1968, an United Autumn Computer Conference took place in the city of San Francisco. Douglas Engelbart and his colleagues presented to the general public their project, the prototype of personal computers and the future of web environments. It was before the Apple and Microsoft software. From the very beginning, it was clear to everyone that something unusual would be presented in this presentation, something that would change the world of the technology forever. Engelbart went up to the stage in the finest mood, wearing headphones with a microphone he had down in front of the demo screen on the desktop, in which, in addition to the keyboard, lay some other incomprehensible device. His entire demonstration was developed to how he thought it would look like working with a computer in the future. He devoted the first part of the demonstration to new possibilities for working with the text documents, video, and something like that. With the mouse, Engelbart could click on any word and move it in the document, or even move it to another one. After that demonstration of working with the text, Engelbart proceeded to the second part of the demonstration, and he, along with the colleagues, introduced the world to the prototype of today's video conferencing. So remember, it was 1968, where the idea of video conferencing was established. And finally, this demonstration anticipated even the most daring expectation. It showed many inventions made in the following years: web documents, screened windows, and computer mouse, video conferencing, team working on documents, and something like that. Don't you think that Engelbart just looks like came from the future and made changes in the history of all people right on the conference, just like in the Tenet film of Christopher Nolan? This is one of the sample where consequences in present of the conference rooted in the future reasons. At the same time, he never received any royalties for the invention of the mouse. During the interviews, he said Stanford Research Institute patented the mouse, but they don't really have no idea of its value. Some years later, it was learned that they had licensed to the Apple computer for something like $40,000. It was a very small amount of fees. And what we can learn from this interesting experience and the nature of innovation. So I just like to mention a couple of key points. And first of all, what we need more than education, or in addition to education. So first of all, read frontier papers and participate in conferences. It's important because that's the way to become professional. It helps you to differentiate between developing yourself and teaching and educating, or developing the world. Try new ideas. It's so many spoken ideas, I thought, but anyway, they say there is nothing worse than coming up with a good idea and not implementing it. So you can not only have your ideas, but if you type in the Wikipedia a list of unsolved problems in physics, mathematics, biology, economy, you will find on Wikipedia the list of the top unsolved problems that could be solved in the future. It means the possible ability for cognition, superconductivity, antimatter, and something like that. This is also a very interesting point to grow and find what to do next. Sometime to try ideas is to discuss with colleagues, and the next point is collaborate. So as you see, as you may know, and Dr. Ismunandar just showed us, the innovation ecosystem is very complicated, and rarely one person could do everything from idea, theory, prototyping, test, production, business development, marketing, investment, something like that. So the one thing to survive in innovation ecosystem is collaborate and find this synergy with people who do business, investment, and advisory for you, and something like that. So this is very important point. If you didn't use it, just again, think twice. Make innovation sustainable. So what is I saw in most of the presentation innovation projects of young scientists, and I saw that maybe sometimes they didn't paid enough attention of the next steps from their results, how they can manage the output. So if you have one way is the published papers. So make the output, make the results of your work available for community, for other parties. So publish papers, make presentation, and distribute your results. Otherwise, everything will go to the trash and will be forgotten. That's why it's very important. If you made new technology, protect the other way. If you make not only fundamental or early stage development, protect UIP. In Russia, we have the special program to support patenting from the school years children, and we understand this is maybe just the future making, but it is very important practice. Find IP attorney and consultancy and practice patenting. It is worth efforts, definitely. Anyway, if you create something new, you should check the patented databases and find what other people did in this context. Always keep it in mind. Do it for real practice only if you understood who could or would buy your patent. So if you don't see that someone could license or buy your patent, any company, so remember it only for education purposes. And final remarks, I would say, maybe it seems complicated. That is why not all people become innovators, but you are. So thank you all for your efforts and the projects. I would also like to thank the Indonesia Scientific Society, Indonesia National Agency for Research and Technology, and all organizers for the very important, valuable World Innovation Scientific Project Olympiad. I would wish to all participants courage, curiosity, productive collaboration, and success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dmitry Korotkov, PhD, for a great speech. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the third speaker. The third speech will be delivered by Professor Yudi Samyudia, PhD, from School of Applied STEM, Prasetya Mulia University. Professor Yudi Samyudia, PhD, please, time is yours.
Thank you, moderator. I'd like to share the screen. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir, I can see the slide.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, all the participants and the speakers, Prof. Ismunandar. Selamat sore, Pak. And also the Dimitri from Russia. Good afternoon, everyone, all the participants of Wispo, World Innovative Science Project Olympiad. In this occasion, I would like to talk about a little bit about the design-driven innovation, how to leverage the technologies or innovation for business growth. Okay, so as mentioned earlier by Prof. Ismu Nandar, in Indonesia context, we are in the stage of middle income country. So if you would like to escape from the middle income trap, what we need to do is to change from the resource-based economy to become the innovation-driven economy or science and technology-based economy. Now the role of the technology, the information or big data in the economic development of the country is quite significant. In addition to that, I think we as a country need to also to increase the efficiency of our production and our operation. That's why the importance of Industrial Revolution 4.0. And also we have to anticipate after the booming of bonus demography given to Indonesia, we have to prepare with the Society 5.0, where the elderly become significant in the country. In the context of global supply value change, so what we need to drive is the small, medium enterprises. How do we help them in driving the Indonesian economy? As you know, affected by pandemic of COVID-19, almost small, medium enterprises in Indonesia got affected. As a result of this one, that create the uncertainty for them to be present and also to grow. So in that context, I would like to say that the society like this one, where collection of the innovator coming from different countries is very important, especially in the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We need to create the STEM literate society, equipped with 21st century skills like critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and also communication skills. As a result of this one, so we want to have innovative and resilient human capital to face the future challenge in the 21st century. Because with that, all the human capital, as mentioned by Arnold Toynbee, a study of history in 1934 to 61, he said that the well-being of a civilization depends on its ability to respond creatively to challenges, human and environment. I think in the previous speech, Professor Ismunanda mentioned about the climate change. So how do we respond to the challenge given by climate change is through innovation. So now if we talk about innovation, so innovation is generally considered the result of a process that brings together various novel ideas in such a way that they affect the society. So the point here is there's novel ideas and must affect the society. I think if we have that one, so that can be called as innovation. If there's no effect to the society, so that's become an invention rather than innovation. So we have to make sure that what we create, the new ideas, as mentioned by Dimitri before, must have an effect to the society. So there are three types of innovation. First is market-driven innovation. So this incremental effect innovation is driven by the needs of the society. So we as an innovator respond to the need of the society by asking them what they need to make it something better. I think that's what we call it, the market-driven innovation. So the market-driven innovation is outside in, meaning that the innovator asks the customers what they need to on something that can be made better by the innovator. So the approach is, we call it the outside in. On the other hand, we have the technology-driven innovation. So if we have a technology-driven innovation, the landscape change by innovations quite dramatically. So can be disruptive. So we have a new development in technology, and for example, I think the innovation in digital era have changed the landscape of the business. That kind of innovation is disruptive technology-driven innovation. So the change is radical. On the other hand, there's a compromise on these two, the so-called design-driven innovation. In my thought, the design-driven innovation is quite important for us, I think, especially for the countries who can catch up in terms of the new technology development. So this approach is firstly introduced by Roberto Ferganti from Politecnico de Milano. So the key for the design-driven innovation is similar like a process designer in their creative work. In my opinion, the design-driven innovation is quite suitable for Indonesian people who are mostly coming from creative person with the strong in arts and culture. So to implement the design-driven innovation, I think the key elements is leadership, strategy, process, resources, metric performance, and also incentive. So let's compare the two approach of innovation here. First is market-driven innovation. I think in the market-driven innovation, the innovator try to find the solution through asking the customer on particular product so that the new product produced by innovator can be made better or can be made more efficient, etc. So the need of the innovation is started with the feedback from the customers. So after that, they create the business ideation, and then if they need so the process is 1, 2, 3. So if they need the science and technology approach, so they can outsource. That's why collaboration is very important. But the most important here is customer-based approach. So the impact of this innovation, of course, is very limited. So that's why we call it, this is the innovation that have the incremental change to the society. On the other hand, the second type of innovation that we have is design-driven innovation. So the approach is inside out. Okay, so the someone who has some knowledge and also passion towards some product try to make things make sense of things, okay, through their innovation, and then they need a partner to criticize their new idea. Okay, so they develop this process all the way until they introduce the product to the market. Okay, so the process is inside out rather than outside in. So all the participants who are interested in this approach, design-driven innovation, please read these two interesting books relevant to this approach. So as call it as a design-driven innovation. So the design is something that we try to making sense of things. Okay, so we try to make sense of things, meaning that we increase the meaning of the product or the thing that we create. Okay, so rather than making problem solution to and make it better, so the design driven innovation is try to collect the direction towards the meaningful product. Okay, so this is the different level of innovation from the people. So that's why in this approach, the leadership is very important. Leadership and innovation has become two things that can make a direction towards the meaningful product. Let me give you an example of this one. What the difference between design-driven innovation and market-driven innovation. Probably all of you know Nokia, and also know the product that created by Nokia at that time to make it better. You know, Nokia is a well-known communication companies, and then they make a better product here by creating the so-called here is a communicator. I think at that time it's very well known as the powerful product. But on the other hand, Apple see different thing. So they create something is totally different from Nokia. The communication tool is not as strong as Nokia, but they put more meaning on the product. So they created the so-called iPhone, our smartphone now. So with this new product, have a more meaningful product, even though in terms of technology or communication is not as strong as Nokia at that time. But now, as you can see now, the impact of Apple or iPhone is very significant to our society. So if you look at what is the difference between these two here. So if you look at the Apple marketing team, they said that to create a new product which is more meaningful, I think they just asked Steve Jobs to reflect and asking himself what the thing that Apple need to create. So Apple didn't ask the customer, the public, to create a new product, but they asked the creator, the innovator, in this case Steve Jobs, to reflect himself and ask what is the new product. Okay, so that's two different things, because if market-driven innovation is outside in, so design-driven innovation is inside out. But when someone have a new idea by himself or herself, they need the partner to criticize the new idea. But the partner need to be constructive in criticizing the ideas coming from you or someone. Okay, so the key here in the design-driven innovation is we need a partner to criticize your idea. I think that would be an interesting approach, because by doing so, we have two different approach here. So if outside in market-driven innovation, we try to solve the problem with some new ideas. On the other hand, for inside-out innovation, you set the new direction, meaning that you be the leader on that particular area, but you need a partner to criticize your idea. So the result of this one, so the approach of design-driven innovation is coming from you as an innovator, and then you have a right partner to criticize you, and then after that you increase the circle and going to the big interpreters, a big size of people to get the feedback on your product or innovative product in terms of meaning. And for your information, I think the great things in business are never done by one person. They are done by a team of people. So this means that this approach is answer that idea. So now, given the definition of the design-driven innovation, and I would like to share with you how do we implement this approach in our education at School of Applied STEM, Prastia Mulia University in Indonesia. So in our university,
Professor,
yes,
I am so sorry to cut the speech. The time is 5 more minutes. Thank you,
okay.
Professor.
Thank you. Okay, so in this approach, I think we nurture the students to become technology transformer, entrepreneur. So we create a catalytic project for them to innovate a new product with the new meaning. So as mentioned by Professor Ismunandar, I think we have to create ecosystem so that the collaboration between the students, the faculty members, and also industry can happen through the catalytic project. As the result of this one, so the innovative product created by our students not only leading to the new meaning of the product, but also they can leverage through business and they can grow the business. So for example, I think this is one of the company launched by our students, even though they haven't graduated yet, but they already have their own company, startup company in different area. I think there's a software-based company, and also there's a food, and also other related companies. So this is the outcome of the project. So to conclude my talk, I think in this occasion, I've shared with you the approach of the innovation, the so-called the design-driven innovation. So in the design-driven innovation, it's not just creative problem solvers, but to create meanings on things of the product so that you can leverage technology or science and technology into for business growth. And at our university, we implemented this approach in undergraduate education through the so-called collaborative learning by enterprising. So the student implement their innovative ideas in order for them to grow and create a business. How do we do that one? We created through the so-called multidisciplinary catalytic projects in collaboration with industry partners. And collaboration with industries is key to create a more impactful project. And also we have to integrate the research in the learning process. And also we have to adapt our experimental facility on the need of the students. I think that's end my talk today. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to share with you the idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Yudi Samyudia, PhD, for a great speech. And ladies and gentlemen, let's move to another speaker. Now is any closing acknowledgement by Mr. Anang Asmadi. I mean by Mr. Anang Ahmadi, SPD, MPD, as the head of P4TK Kemdikbud and AFS advisor. Mr. Anang Ahmadi, please, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. With respect, Professor Ismu, Professor Yudi, and Mr. Dimitri, with respect, Head of Indonesia Scientific Society and all the staff, with respect all committee, with respect all participants around the world. With pleasure and blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, we can gathered in this place in good health. Therefore, let us give thanks to the presence of Almighty God, With his blessing, we can all attend what this would innovative science project Olympiad 2020 webinars and awarding events. Hard work will always pay off, and all the participants who took part in this competition have proven it. Being selected from the hundred of registered until 58 participants were selected in already a very good result. This year, Wispo 2020 was attended by 8 countries. Among them are Yemen, Sudan, Russia, Serbia, United States of America, South Africa, Malaysia, Turkey, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and off the coast of host Indonesia. Competition like this is very much needed to test the competence of those who learn. Competition is a way so that we can know the extent of our knowledge. Not to be the best, but for an exchange of knowledge and experience. Center for Development and Empowerment of Teacher and Education Personnel in Science, P4KIPA, fully support this event. We are proud of independent institutions like Indonesia Science Society that is willing to work hard to increase the value of nation. Not only the nation itself, but the nation that exists in the world. We need activities like this again in the future, and P4TK IPA will certainly fully support them. To the participants who fought for 5 days yesterday, hopefully you can get the best result. Thank you for the opportunity. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nang Ahmadi SPD MPD for the speech, for great speech. Well, now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for speech from jury representative, Dr. Ari Hardian. Please, time is yours.
Hello, is my voice clear?
Yes, sir, I can hear your voice and clear.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nindya. Okay, to Honorable Professor Ismu Nandar, PhD, expert staff in relevance and productivity, Ministry of Research and Technology, National Research and Innovation Agency of Indonesia, to Honorable Mr. Anang Ahmadi, SPD, MPD, Head of Center for Development and Empowerment of Teacher and Education Personnel in Science, Ministry of Education and Culture of Indonesia, also as Indonesia Scientific Society Advisor. Honorable Mr. Dmitry Korotkov, PhD, founder of the International Scientific Communication Consortium, Russia. Honorable Professor Yudi Samyudia, PhD, from School of Applied STEM, Prasetya Mulia University. Honorable Mr. Iwan Budiman, SPD MPD, Head of Indonesia Scientific Society. Also Honorable the judges of Wispo, Ms. Dr. Kartika Hajar Kirana, MSc, and Ms. Nur Khamimah Lailis Indriani, MSc. Honorable all crew organizing committee of Wispo, and to all Wispo participants that I'm proud of. Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say thank you to ISS, which has given me an incredible opportunity to be a judge at this amazing event, World Innovative Science Project Olympiad 2020. In this opportunity, I represent all judges of Wispo 2020, want to share competition rubric of Wispo 2020, also my impression during Wispo 2020 as a judge. Firstly, competition rubric. There are 5 assessment categories, which are innovativeness, novelty and originality, project executions, quality and impact, and project presentation and communication. All these 5 categories derive into 8 criteria, which are innovation, novelty, originality, problem statement, method, result, conclusion, and presentation. All judges gave score 0 to 5 for each criteria. Each criteria also has different weightage. The score were then converted into scale 0 to 100 to obtain the final score. Determination of the award is seen from this final score. Our assessment based on virtual live presentation, also considering videos in the virtual exhibition on the ISS YouTube channel and participant abstracts. Secondly, my impression during become a judge in this event. My first impression when I see the video in virtual exhibition, I'm so proud. There are many extraordinary innovations from the Wispo participants. Even those innovations were carried out by participants who still very, very young. These awards are just bonus for what you have done. Keep innovating because innovation is the heart of the times. I take some quotes from the world's great innovators. The first one is innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower from Steve Jobs. And the second is innovation is seeing what everybody has seen and thinking what nobody has thought from Albert Shen Georgi, who discovered vitamin C. For the last but not least, I would like to say congratulations to all participants because you are already become the champions. Stay enthusiastic in innovations, keep spirit, and keep healthy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Nindya.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arya Hardian, for the speech. Now, we move to the awarding. I will announce you the winner. And before I announce you the winner, I would like to say I am so sorry if I was not able to pronounce your name clearly. Hopefully you can understand and you can apologize it. But don't worry, you still can see the list of the winner on the screen later on. So here are the winner of Wispo 2020. Next, chemistry category. Bronze medal, elementary school. Emina Vukovic and Lamija Kurik from Bosnia and Herzegovina. High school category. Izifozonke Mlambo from South Africa. College student category. College students category. AAGD Bagus Mahendra and Andrea Hana Rininditya from Indonesia. Silver medal. High school category. Azil Soylif and Sudik Kahraman from Turkey. Sudik and Ismar Mahmud from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Next. Gold medal. High school category. Jacqueline Prawira from United States of America. College students category. Dora Aini Nabila from Malaysia. Physics and engineering category. Bronze medal. High school category. Rehedesiva CBR Ginting and Rista Miranti from Indonesia. Silver medal. High school category. Alper Bayam and Mehmet Emre Tirisi from Turkey. Meltem Gonulol Celikoglu and Bilgi Toprak Karakaya from Turkey. Lisansia Sumaili and Julia Karavaskina from South Africa and from Russia. College student. Ajit Kozovic from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Gold medal. Elementary school. Chan Zakai and Cho Cheryl from Malaysia. High school category. Jordan Prawira from United States of America. Life science category. Bronze medal. High school category. Rizky Anastasia Halim and Edzua Nuya Shalim from Indonesia. Dwinta Nurul Fadilah Beb and Boya Tatif from Indonesia. Sofia Maharaja and Yuna Melani Siregar from Indonesia. Dita Aryani and Wahdana Apriyadi from Indonesia. Aulia Syahputri and Ayu Purnamasari from Indonesia. Taufik Alam Bukit, back to the previous slide, thank you. Taufik Alam Bukit and Siti Asyah from Indonesia. Amar Zain Alfikri and Ayu Indriani Silva from Indonesia. Dina Salsabila Hilyah Mustika and Astrid Eka Mulia Maharani from Indonesia. Astrid Eka Mulia Maharani and Happy Dwi Aprilia from Indonesia. Nomfundo Gumede from South Africa. Happy Dwi Aprilia and Astrid Eka Mulia Maharani from Indonesia. Shania Indi Aurelia and Octaviana Trihandayani from Indonesia. Dinda Octavia Winsa Cahyani and Azra Aisyahna from Indonesia. Jaslyn Laurencia and Teresa Tania Tamsil from Indonesia. Pareh Prameswari and Mutiara Agita Asma Ulsani from Indonesia. Bima Shana Aprileo Wicaksana and Akmaluddin Miftahul Azmi from Indonesia. Irma Sri Komite Riswati from Indonesia. College student. Riko Ade Putra from Indonesia. Silver medal. High school category. Aida Masiata and Aisyah Sofrina from Malaysia. Andika Eka Nugroho and Nadia Dinda Aisyah Putri from Indonesia. Yurai Salgani Setiawan and Salsa Bilanutia from Indonesia. Zahra Niswah and Siti Nur Habibah from Indonesia. Jessica Laureasia Crescianto and Jonathan Pinata from Indonesia. Niza Farah Najumasari, Muzena Hishab Okbah, and Amalta Syahbani Z Putri from Indonesia. Fiorena Juliana and Marvel Christian from Indonesia. Gold medal. High school category. Bilal Azmir and Sinamis Nurboz from Turkey. Aisyah Rifa Fadilah and Muhammad Nabil Al-Hanif from Indonesia. Technology and computer category. Bronze medal. High school category. Hizkiara Bani Yusuf and Muhammad Yuhud Pribadi from Indonesia. Najwa Safa Wardana and Raihana Shifa Aulia from Indonesia. Nindya Mauliatus Zahra, Cintania Azahra, and Tantri Nurma Tanto from Indonesia. Ahmad Waliul Afkar and Muhammad Rumi F. Jamil from Indonesia. Firly Fitriani Ramdhani and Putri Amanda Rismawati from Indonesia. Dava Naufal and Wahyono and Muhammad Fadil Nugrah from Indonesia. College student. Momen Mustafa Muhammad and Muhammad Humran from Yemen. Osmad Muhammad and Muhammad Ali Humran from Yemen. Silver medal. Elementary school. Brian Alverico Anwar and Dylan Sairilo Anwar from Indonesia. High school category. Kevan Valerio Anwar from Indonesia. Milan Mirkic and Mateja Opakic from Serbia. Caroline Putri Kencana and Nafis Ayu Fatmawati from Indonesia. Gold medal. High school category. Jana Dragovic and Mateja Opakic from Serbia. College student. Lebedev Andriy Igorevic from Russia. And now, grand winners of Wispo 2020. Congratulations to Jacqueline Purawira, Jordan Prawira, and Nur Aini Nabilah. Best Young Scientist of Wispo 2020. Jacqueline Prawira from United States of America. Congratulations for all the winners and for all the participants. And once again, I would like to say I'm so sorry if I wasn't able to pronounce your name clearly. And excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the host and committee, we would like to extend once again our deepest appreciations to all of you for your support and your participation. We wish you good health. Once again, thank you and see you in Wispo 2020. And you may leave this Zoom meeting. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Kalau jangan tekan mic.